Hello, what's happening, everybody? It is a beautiful spring morning here in southern Arizona, and we're in Cochise County. So it's been over a month since I posted a video. I almost forgot how to do this. So I'm just gonna run y'all through a tour of our homestead as it stands today, and talk to you about our future plans, and just give y'all inside look at what it's like to live off grid when you first start. We've been out here since the beginning of July of last year, and a lot's happened since then, and we've changed our plans a little, but everything's still off grid and we're still living the lifestyle. But we just basically, on our house mostly, we decided we wanted to go a little bit of a different route, and I'm going to talk to you guys about that. So here we go. All right, so we'll start at the gate right here. This is coming into the property. I'm actually in the process of putting an automatic gate in over here. It's been a while, also expanding the size of it. We're gonna go with the 16-foot wide gate, and just gonna use one of these Mighty Mule gate openers, and so that's what I'm doing here. So as you come up on the property, here's the dogs, of course, and I'm gonna take you back over to the west side here. Now over here there's not much going on. This is where I do have a hole in the ground. Alright, so first step here, I'm taking you over to the west side of the property, and just want to show you our big hole in the ground. This initially was going to be like an in-ground root cellar, but as soon as monsoon season hit, we figured it out real quick that this would be a great area to put like a stock pond. Basically, it's an in-ground water catchment system here, and because this land is sloped, this is the center where the shipping container, I'll talk about that in a minute, but basically the ground slopes down here, and so when it rains hard, all that happens is the water goes right in here, fills up. This is close to 16,000 gallons. I'm gonna have the neighbor come over here and re-scrape out some of the bottom here, and we're gonna put a poly tarp in here and just kind of turn it into a little pond, and then I'm gonna put some type of a cover over top of it that will not let the water escape. So basically enclose it, but still let water be able to run in through here like a ramp. And then what we'll do is we will take the water, run it through a basic filtration, because if you're going to store water long term, you need to, and you're not going to leave a pond where you can have a ecosystem take care of everything. And if you're just going to store it, which is what I'm going to be doing, you have to have a basic filtration or the water starts to stink. I learned that last year. So we're going to do a basic filtration system, basically just coagulate and flocculate and just let all the particles sit at the bottom. And then we're going to, from that part, have it pumped into another in-ground cistern that will actually be a holding tank for our actual water. So, it's still financially much cheaper to do it this way than to set up all your infrastructure for your catchment on the roofs and everything, which we're doing that as well. But this is actually going to be like just a different setup that we're going to experiment with over the next couple years and see how it works. But watering plants, watering even the animals, the chickens, that kind of stuff, making concrete, this water would be great for that. So last year it filled up like 3 times, so we might even expand it, and if it works, we're going to do it even bigger. But anyways, that's what we're doing here. And so moving on, I'm going to take you all over to the beginning of our house, believe it or not. So I'm going to do a whole video on this and explain why we're building our house this way versus the initial plan, which is to go with earth bags and do like a hyper adobe or something. We decided we want to go with the shipping containers. So right here you're looking at our first part of our house. Of course, we don't have a foundation under it yet or anything. We just had them drop it off. But this is called a one trip, and I'm going to talk about this in a separate video and why we went with one trip versus just getting older containers. you know, this is the beginning of it. My background with welding and fabrication, this is just something that we both decided would work for us, and we wanted something that has a clean look to it, and you know, we can do a lot of cool modular things with these containers. So that, like I said, it's gonna require its own video to talk about, but I'm just taking you on a tour here. So since the last video I posted, so we had this delivered. Actually next week we're gonna have the septic being done right over here in this area. So the septic guys are coming next week. But this is the beginning of our house, like I said. I'll open it up and just show you how nice it is in here. So very clean right now. My wife just has, you know, her clothes, some of her clothes and stuff, and we have chicken food in the back there. But yeah, nice, clean. And so now I'm gonna move back to here. So this is a shed that I put together since the last video. I started this from beginning to where it is now, and it took me about 100 hours to do this, but needed more storage space for all the stuff we're doing. And so yeah, this shed will eventually have stucco like I did the other one, so that's why it's black like this. And we're gonna be basically putting a nice stucco coat on this, make it look nice and clean. Still have to put the door on, and let's see, in here just right now using it as a catch-all for just basically storage containers, little mini totes here that we're using. We're just going to line the sides with shelving and do it that way, and that's what this is. Okay, so now I'm down on the east side of the property, and over here, this is actually where I kind of keep some pallets, building supplies, and just general junk over here. I still have to fence this area in. A lot of projects that we have about 75% done, and the reason for that is because there's an efficiency to it when you're doing, like, say if you're going to stucco buildings, it's better to do them all at once than it is to do one building, take apart all your equipment, clean it all out, and then start on some other random project. So what I've been doing is trying to get, you know, things built to a certain point to where they're usable, and then what we'll do is we go back and do all the pretty stuff. And so it's been working okay, but anyways, that's why you'll see a lot of unfinished projects here. So what I'm doing here is I'm showing you the solar array. You can see these panels, they're just temporarily down here. They've been temporarily like this for actually since the end of June of last year. So I just moved them from on top of the hill there. But we got about 3.5 kilowatts here, 14 panels. Basically what these do is they feed into the RV. I have batteries in the front there, and the batteries are just lead acid, you know, marine batteries. And so these panels will feed into the RV. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so I'm in the RV. We actually have a lot going on over here, and I'll try to make it quick. But basically, so you saw where the panels were. This is dusty. I've been on vacation, so I got to come in here and clean this thing off pretty quick here so this dust doesn't damage anything. But one of the things in Arizona you got to deal with is a lot of dust. Anyways, this is the inverter slash charge controller. It's an all-in-one unit. This is what we went with. I actually have another one of these that I'm going to be putting in parallel with this one, but right now I just have it sitting in the cabinet in the RV because climate control, and you know, it's like I said, everything's kind of temporary right now until we build the final infrastructure for things that we're doing here. But basically where I just showed you the panels, those panels are going to be up off the ground here real soon. We're going to be doing everything to prepare for monsoon season, and that will be feeding our farm area as far as the power down here in the farm. The farm's its own separate business eventually, so it's going to have its own power supply, and also that power supply will be a backup for our main house power supply, so we build a little bit of redundancy in. So that's what this is going to serve as down here. Right here, so this grow watt unit, they go for about $750 each. It's about a 3,000 watt inverter, and it's 80 amp charge controller in here, and it basically I have a cable from here that goes into the back of the RV underneath here. You can see we got all kinds of conduit and stuff going through here. But this is just a giant fuse box. Don't need something this big for this small of a system, but I'm expanding the system, so actually this will come into play. But I just wanted to show you guys here how this thing works. Basically, wasn't really necessary, but you can see here I don't have much going in here, but this is it's a nice little box there. Everything's all put together, so you can just, you know, feed your wiring in through here, and then, you know, you'll have some good surge protection for your equipment here. So this just protects everything. So close that back up, and you can see I got this from this company, watts247.com. They're actually very good pricing. I've been seeing people spending thousands on these things, and man, I'm telling you, this is the way to go. It's thing's been working great since July of last year. Haven't had no issues. So anyways, so here, you know, you see you have a little sub panel here. This is just a 30 amp little breaker here for the RV itself, and this here is a shut off switch for the batteries. You know, of course, my son has his computer set up in here. So I'm going to show you guys something. So over here, what you're looking at is my, this is our cell phone booster. And this booster is for us to get a better cell phone signal, of course. This basically boosts our signal up from like sometimes no service to 1 to 2 bars at best. And now if you're around this thing, you get full bars. So this booster has an antenna. You can see here it goes up onto the roof of the RV, and that's how this works. And you can pick up all kinds of different cell bands here. You know, we use the LTE 700. That's what we're using, but this is a pretty pricey little thing here, but it was necessary because even if you're using a hotspot for like a computer, the higher your signal is, the better it's going to work. And so this is really necessary for us because we were just not getting very good signal out here. This right here is actually, you can see it's a Netgear. It's a Nighthawk. It is this is our modem slash router for our off-grid broadband internet. This is separate from a hotspot. This is its own thing. We pay AT&T to run this thing, and it's got its own SIM card. As far as speed goes, it's pretty darn good compared. If you use a hotspot on a cell phone versus this, there's no comparison. The hotspot on cell phone just doesn't do anything that we need it to do because my wife works from home sometimes and my son's on here gaming all the time. So this thing for us was necessary to keep our creature comforts. And so I have a wire from here that goes out the RV and underground. I'm going to show you guys that right now. All right, so over here we have our off-grid washing machine. We don't use it that much, honestly. We just go into town, use a laundromat right now because we want to have our own laundry room out here and a whole setup. So we use it once in a while. You know, I would say a couple times a month, but right now it just kind of sits out here. Okay, so right now I'm on the back of the RV, and what happens here is, you know, the RVs have their own plugs. So if you like pull into an RV park, you can plug in your 30 amp plug-in. And so what I did was I mounted it to the outside of the RV, and that's a 30 amp plug-in, but this 30 amp plug-in actually feeds into that inverter charge controller through that little sub panel that you guys saw. And this basically is how I plug into the solar. So if I want to unplug the solar, I just unplug this, and then I can plug this thing into a generator if I need to. This right here is just where I have the solar array plugged into the little fuse box in there. So that's what's going on here. So it's kind of a rudimentary setup, but it does work, you know, for what we need it for right now. And this is actually our internet cable, and I'm going to show you guys how this works. Don't mind the loud equipment here, but got some people doing some work. But anyways, this here is the Kiva / Earthbag Structure. As you can see, hasn't been cleaned in a while, folks. We just got back on vacation, so I'm just going to show you how it looks in here. This is actually going to be our farm setup. This is our headquarters. Going to be having egg incubators and some other plant stuff going on in here, storage for fertilizer, that kind of thing. But basically what we have here is, this is where the internet comes in to feed into this computer. So this computer has a cord that comes in here. We also have, so it comes into a plug right here. And this is actually Wi-Fi like booster expander. And so we have the cable coming from the RV. It feeds into this thing, and this thing gives us wireless internet in here. So we get high-speed internet here. And so my wife can work on her computer in here during the daytime when she works from home. She's not doing it today, but you can see I got seeds and all kinds of stuff back here that I'm trying to get ready for the farm. So basically the way we decided to do it was we did the farm first because I wanted to learn and practice some building techniques and kind of nail down what we wanted to do for our own house. But so that's the way I've been doing things. And so, you know, the farm is going to make some money for the homestead, and that was the idea when we started. So we're just making that happen. It takes a while, though, I can tell you that much. I built all this stuff by hand. So you can see in here, this thing's still not done yet. I have, this thing's about 75% done. You know, we have the door here. I have, you know, a light switch. Got to hide all this conduit. There's not a lot of conduit. Most everything runs outside underground, but this electricity in here is actually being fed from that RV station. I have just a direct bury line that comes in, and there's a panel back here that I just set up. Just showing you guys I have a TV in here, but like I said, this is all exempt because this is a farm area. I actually have the business. I just registered everything, and if you're setting up agricultural stuff on your land, you can actually do this as long as it's going to be used for that purpose, which it will. And I'm going to take you outside and show you guys the rest of the farm. Alright, so coming out of the earth bag, the idea was this is our headquarters, and you're going to come out. There's still got to be a dome built over this area here for flood control, but this doesn't flood, believe it or not, because this is above any flooding that happens here. These rocks, and there's a moisture barrier that keeps water out, but it's actually going to be up even higher, so it's a non-issue. So coming out here, the idea was we were going to come right from the headquarters, and then where the incubation is going to happen for a lot of different breeds of chickens that I want to do some chicken breeding, and even some quail and things like that. So the idea was we come out of here, you come up, and you come right into the chicken run and where the coops will be and everything. This building over here that, you know, it's not done right now. It's just a catch-all for stuff. But once, you know, I get another shed set up and everything, I got to take some of this into this building. But anyhow, this is going to be an area where we're going to have some quail and stuff in here, and they're going to be separated from the chickens. So this is going to be a little quail house in here. The roof's going to be open so where, you know, there's a lot of ventilation and things like that. But I'll go into that in a different time. But just to give you guys just an overview here. So the way this works is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to, you know, pretty everything up. That's the last priority right now, is prettying everything up. Right now, the priority is just to keep my chickens in here. So right now, like I said, just got back from vacation, so it's kind of messy in here. The chickens they have free run in here. It's about 1,400 square foot in here. This is all built from pallets. But basically I'm going to be sectioning off areas for different parts of the operation that we're doing in here and clean it up and all that good stuff. Right now what I like to do is just lay down straw in here, and then as time passes, the straw mixes with the manure, and then I, you know, put it into a big pile like this, and then they scratch in that, and then eventually we'll take the dirt out and we'll use it for soil. But so yeah, you can see in here, you know, it is what it is. Right now it's not, you know, very clean or anything because I've been gone, but I'm gonna catch up this week on all that. But this is the operation here. I have a couple goats back there, but actually that's going to be more chicken space for moving the goats. So I'm going to take you and show you the rest of it. All right, so now coming over here, this is actually going to be a pump house right now. Right now I just have cardboard boxes stored in it because we broke down some boxes when we were moving stuff into totes. Very busy here. But this is going to be a pump house for the water supply. Right now I just have one of these totes here for our water, and not very much, but I'm gonna be, as soon as they have more of these coming in, these metal totes, I'm gonna get like 10 of them, so be a couple thousand, almost 3,000 gallons worth of water. So anyways, this is gonna be a pump house. Over here, this is a dog kennel that I just built. Something else that I did since the last video, had to weld this together for our trip so my neighbor could come feed my dogs, otherwise they're gonna take off and get eaten by coyotes. So this right here, we haven't decided what we're actually gonna do with this shed. This isn't gonna be a permanent dog kennel. This was just something for when we left, you know, we wanted to keep our dogs in. It's actually pretty cool. This, you know, it has two separate doors here, so I welded this door on to where, you know, you can open it and not let the animals out. And then of course the bottom one, you can open this up and come in here. I gave them a nice mattress. They survived, so but they're both escape artists, so I had to do a lot in here. So this is solid steel. I think we're going to use this for some type of animal cage. I'm not sure yet, but probably not for the dogs, because most of the time the dogs they're just out with me, so they don't really need a cage. But you know, like I said, it would be great for, maybe might turn it into some bird aviary type thing or something, where we put like a, you know, a netting over it and let some my son's parakeets in here or something, we decided. Anyhow, so this here is the next part of the build here. This is a shed that I've already shown this more than once. This is a pallet shed. I built this out of pallets. This you know, this sucker here is solid. It needs another coat of stucco and then doing all the trim work, and then this building here will be done soon, actually, as far as aesthetics go, so that'll be good. So you can, hopefully you can see the vision. If you're coming down the hill here, this is going to be a Santa Fe themed farm, and what I mean by that is everything's going to have a Santa Fe look to it, but it's going to be a functioning farm. So if I ever bring people on tours down here, you know, they'll come in here and they'll be like, wow, you know, just to show people that a farm doesn't have to look like junk. You know, you can make it look nice. Right now we're in a weird transition here with all this stuff, so it doesn't look real neat, but it will. So the idea is you come down in here, that's the shed, that's just a storage shed, you know, putting more stuff for the farm area down in here. And then of course the headquarters will be right here, and then you'll have all of your little stuff going on with the chickens over there. Now I haven't even shown you guys the area where I'm going to have a greenhouse and all that, because I'm still working out the details of that, but it will be somewhere down here. I just haven't gotten into it yet. Going to be, you know, growing produce and growing our own food for the animals, that kind of thing. Got a lot of plans, just not enough time, so that's what it comes down to. And then one more thing I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to get back to work here. This is actually going to be our garbage recycling center. As you can see here, this also is in a transition. Like I said, you can see the theme here. Everything's getting done in sections. So next I got to put the doors on, do all the trim work on this. But basically you can see we have it labeled. This is where our landfill garbage is going to go. So right now it's already getting full. I got to take a run to the dump. But what was happening out here is we were using trash cans, but the winds are so strong here, man, that our garbage was starting to get blown around, and of course, you know, can't have that. So decided to make a little station here for recycling, because we don't have trash pickup out here. We got to do everything ourselves. So if you want to recycle, you know, you got to figure out a way to do it. So what we did here is I set up separate, you know, areas here for different types of garbage. And, you know, we have glass, metal, plastic, paper. We even have a styrofoam section on the other side. I'm going to try to reuse stuff as much as possible. But the things that we can't, at least we'll have it recycled, so when we take it somewhere, we're not just throwing it in with the landfill garbage, because that wouldn't be good. So yeah, folks, this is it. A lot of things, you know, that have been going on, and a lot of building that's been happening. So it's been crazy, but it's slowly getting done, and things are starting to look like, you know, they have a purpose out here. So that's been cool. But thanks for following, everybody. I know it's been a while. I appreciate all my new subscribers. I just want to let everybody know that I hadn't went anywhere, just got super busy, and so I'm back down here again, and we'll be working for a while, so I'll be posting more videos. The next video will be on the shed that I showed you guys earlier. I'm going to show you from beginning to end how I built that, so I can give you all some ideas if you're looking into doing something like that. So I'll talk to you soon.